Welcome, Fredonia English majors. If you've spent any time lately discussing literature in Fenton Hall or working on articles for The Leader over in the Williams Center, you've probably felt a shared anxiety about the future of our field. The media keeps telling us that generative AI is making the writer obsolete, but today we are going to reframe that narrative entirely. We aren't looking at the death of the English major, we are looking at how AI actually saved it. The market doesn't need more automated words. It needs strategic thinkers like you to tame the machine. Let's look at the actual labor market data because it contradicts the media doom and gloom. It is true that we are seeing a 40% decline in routine, highly repetitive writing jobs. But look at the growth. There is a 130% surge in AI-related job postings. And the most important revelation for you? Over 51% of these new roles exist entirely outside of the IT and tech sectors. The market isn't just looking for software engineers. It is desperately demanding human oversight and strategic communicators. To understand why you are needed, you have to understand the threat of the mathematical average. Large language models are probabilistic engines. They are built to predict the safest, most statistically average next word. This creates an artificial hive mind, flooding the internet with text that shares a 71% to 82% semantic similarity. Without human intervention, these models end up training on their own synthetic data, which triggers model collapse. Your education, the critical dissent you learn in courses like American fictions, is the exact antidote to this formulaic homogenization. This homogenization is a massive financial threat to brands. Search engines like Google operate on the EEAT mandate: expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. AI cannot produce genuine experience. An algorithm has never walked down to Canada Way Creek for a biology lab. It has never shopped at the Fredonia Farmers Market, and it has never sat in the audience at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House. It cannot synthesize local lived reality. The market needs you to inject that authentic human experience back into the digital ecosystem. This brings us to the human-in-the-loop imperative. The old hierarchy, where a strategy editor handed off drafts to an army of junior writers, is dead because the marginal cost of producing syntactically correct text is now zero. The new architecture relies on AI agents to handle the bulk drafting, but everything must flow through a human-in-the-loop for quality assurance. Brands are actively hiring people to apply taste, curation, and strategic alignment to machine output. Your academic training at Fredonia is a highly calibrated strategic weapon for this new architecture. The tech world calls it prompt engineering. But let's be clear. Prompt engineering is not a computer science skill. It is applied literary criticism. When you write a prompt, you are engineering a rhetorical scenario, establishing a persona, and setting stylistic constraints. You are uniquely trained to interpret ideologies and resist a machine's tendency toward cliché. We call this rhetorical AI literacy. Because of this, the career path for an English major has evolved. Instead of aiming for basic content writing, you are now looking at roles like AI prompt engineer, where you manage output and refine brand tone. A copy editor is now a human-in-the-loop QA specialist, ensuring ethical fairness and compliance. We are seeing a 178% growth in roles focused on AI integration and workflow weaving. You are transitioning from primary drafters to system architects. However, there is a structural crisis in the corporate ladder, the missing rung. With a 16% decline in early career jobs that are highly exposed to AI, there is a brutal catch-22. If LLMs are handling all the entry-level drafting, how do you gain the necessary experience to become those highly paid strategic editors? You can't just skip the foundation. You need a controlled environment to transition from the theories we discuss in the classroom to the executive oversight the market demands. Enter the English+AI Fellowship. This is a guided, credit-bearing internship designed explicitly to bridge that gap. Your mission here isn't to be a manual writer of basic drafts. It is to step in as a strategic AI editor intern, directly governing synthetic labor. By the end of it, you will have mastered rhetorical AI literacy and built an undeniable portfolio. Your core mission in this fellowship is built on the governance loop. It starts with constrain, using advanced, constraint-based prompting to direct the models. Then you generate in agile sprints. Next is the most vital human element, the audit, where you apply your executive taste to perform tonal and ethical checks. Finally, you elevate the text, ensuring it escapes that mathematical average and achieves real rhetorical impact. This isn't just theory. It requires real-world application and stakeholder empathy. You might work with local nonprofits, startup incubators, or even campus organizations like Spectrum Entertainment Board or WNYF-TV. Your job is to extract the deeply human insights that AI cannot invent. You will use the PAS framework, identify the problem, agitate the emotional stakes, and present the solution to elevate generic AI drafts into highly persuasive, resonant communications. When you enter the job market, a traditional academic transcript won't be enough. You need to prove your value through a deployed portfolio. In this fellowship, you won't just write standard essays. You will generate, audit, and finalize multi-channel digital assets, live websites, complex case studies, white papers, and videos like the one you are watching right now. You will graduate with undeniable, publicly deployed proof that you can strategically manage AI infrastructure. Let's translate what you do in the classroom into executive taste. When you practice close reading, you are learning AI tonal auditing, which ensures brand voice consistency. Rhetorical analysis is exactly what you need for constraint-based prompting. And studying semiotics is how you construct a brand point of view to defend against model collapse. You are bridging the gap between a liberal arts degree and the operational demands of the modern tech and business sectors. To properly evaluate these new skills, we have to defend the human factor. You won't just be graded on a final draft. You will conduct semiotic teardowns to diagnose homogenization. You will submit prompt sprint logs that document how you evolved and corrected the AI's output. And finally, you will participate in a public defense, standing before your peers and faculty to justify your editorial choices and demonstrate your audit process. The time to adapt is now. This fellowship is launching in the fall 2026 semester. It offers 3 academic credits, which aligns perfectly with the standard 120 work hours required by Fredonia's Career Development Office, and includes a stipend of $200 per week. The market doesn't need basic copywriters anymore. It desperately needs humanities graduates with the technical fluency to govern the machines. I invite you to step into the loop, apply, and claim your strategic role.